Hey, BassGeek here, and in May, the bass relate to shad, whether it be during the shad spawn or out deep on those deep ledges and points. And Fishing Geeks, one of the most natural big fish producing baits that you can throw this time of year has to be a big soft plastic swim bait. There is not a lot of baits that I would tell you that I feel like I've really mastered, but a big soft plastic swim bait is one of them. And so I'm going to help you know when, where, how, and even what gear I like to use. But first, I got something for you geeks. Every single month, we go out to Tackle Warehouse and pick out $50 worth of baits that we give away to one of you lucky geeks. This is the Tackle Warehouse BassGeek box, and I'm going to show you what we've got for you for the month of May. Whether they're out deep or whether they're up shallow in your part of the country, it is hard to beat a Ned rig. This is the Rapid Baits Foxtail. This is an incredible little bait if you've got smallmouth. Love the hair, the fox hair that is in the tail of this bait. And we know this time of year the bass are starting to make that journey out to their deeper summer haunts. So we got you a little heavier Ned head right here. This is a 1/4 ounce. And no matter if they're shallow or if they're deep, we got you a crankbait that you can use to go catch them. This is the 100, very finessey little square bill from Bandit. And to attack those bass that like to get a little bit deeper, this is the Bandit 300. Something that I love pretty much any time of year. But if you're like me and you hate rigging up a Carolina rig, and I love a Carolina rig, but this has almost replaced it for me. And this is a tungsten football head. I call them wobble heads from Exxon Lures. So you know we love to set you up with a complete setup in these boxes. So we went out and got you the Exxon Adrenaline Craw and Bama Craw. Now we're going to talk about big soft plastic swim baits. Now this is a 5.5, it's really 6 inches. And this is the STC 5.5. This is the Viper color, a color that I absolutely love in clear water. And to go along with it, we got you a 5/0 tactical bassin screwed up from Dirty Jigs in one of my favorite colors, Tennessee shad swim bait head. All right, so the setup that I generally like for this, and you can really use, anything, but I like a medium heavy to a heavy action rod. Generally, I tend to lean toward a medium heavy, but this is a heavy. This is a 7'3" heavy fast action, but it's got a good tip, so I can cast those 1/2 ounces a country mile. And this is a TFO option. I like these option rods. I like the feel of them. I like the color and the design of them. I've got this coupled with a Lew's speed spool. Now, I like a little slower speed. This is a 6.4 to 1. I'll put the new model down in the description. By the way, we don't do memberships. We don't do Patreon, stuff like that. We want to give you all the information for absolutely free, geeks. We don't want you to have to pay to play. So make sure you go bookmark that link down in the description or scan this code right here. Hey, doesn't cost you a thing if you're going to shop at Tackle Warehouse anyway, but it does help us out. Now, as far as line goes, we've got K9 15-pound Pro 100 100% fluorocarbon on here. This is a setup that I have used for years. Geeks, like I said, this is one of the things that I have fished forever and a day. And I started fishing, bigger soft plastic swim baits a very long time ago, right when they really started coming out. Like, I wouldn't even say hit the big time, but probably several years before that. And one of the biggest reasons was I just started thinking about it one day and all the clear lakes that I fish, and the lakes that I fish, depending on what part of the lake and what lake it is, can really range, especially during the summertime, into the post-spawn, into summer patterns, can really range anywhere from, 5 to 8 feet, all the way down to about 30 feet visibility. And I just got to thinking, hey, everyone else is doing what I'm doing. Everyone else is taking a little finesse worm and dink-a-linking that stupid thing around. And how many times, how many worms or little creature baits do you think these bass see in a day? Because everyone tells you that you need to downsize. And I think we're starting to see kind of what my thought pattern was years ago, is that the big baits get bites and get big bites, and the small baits get big bites and lots of bites. And so we've seen this in the fishing industry over the last few years of the magnums and the ultra finesse. And those seem to be what's really working right now and what's hot on the market. But I think one thing that we're forgetting when we get into swim baits are your bigger soft plastic swim baits. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about line throughs. Everybody fishes those. That's a shallow water bait to me. A line through bait's not something that's designed to be fished on or near the bottom of your body of water. This is. Now, this is one of the smaller versions that I'd use. It's a 5-inch, but anything really from your 5-inch and above, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I've got some that's all the way up to a 10-inch version, and you have to use a pretty big hook to be able to fish that out there. Some of your mag draft freestyles, that's a great example of some of those baits that we're talking about. They're not baits that you're going to really fish over top of grass or around docks or that sort of stuff. We're talking about getting out here on the deep stuff at the end of May, throwing these baits and slow rolling and grinding some big bass in some of the toughest conditions, including suspended bass without forward-facing sonar. And I've been doing that for years before forward-facing sonar was even a twinkle in its daddy's eye. Now, you can rig these, and the Scottsboro, like I said, this is an old Ramsey version, and I'm using it right now because I don't want to use your baits and possibly lose one or tear it up. Now, for me, whether you have ledges on the Tennessee River or whether you have points and humps and creek channels, this is where this bait shines. And the reason why is it's just so realistic. And generally what I'm going to do is I'm going to find areas where there's shad. Now, I know in the past I've had a lot of guys talk to me about, where you're going to throw them and that they don't catch a lot of fish on them. One of the biggest reasons is you're probably fishing it too fast. If you're coming from fishing a jig or you're coming from fishing a crankbait, this is a slow, and if you think you're slower retrieve. And that's what's going to get you bites. Now, I hear a lot of guys talking about, stop and go or that sort of stuff. But I will tell you, and I've taught a lot of people this technique, 90% of the time, you're going to want to just throw this bait out there, count it down. If you got a forward-facing sonar, you can get it to the right part of the water column. But if I've got shad, I'm going to count it down. And I know there's bass feeding on them in open water. I'm going to count it down to where the bottom of those shad are, and I'm going to start reeling. Now, if I'm fishing contour lines, if I'm fishing a point or a ledge or that sort of stuff, I'm going to let it sink to the bottom, and I'm going to give it a little twitch up. And I'm going to start very slowly moving the bait. And this is why I say a low speed. I think if you go above a 6.5, you are too fast. You're taking up too much line 90% of the time. And that's probably the biggest reason why you're not catching fish on a soft plastic swim bait. And realistically, that's the difference in retrieve, is letting it drop to the bottom or counting it down to a certain part of the water column. And that's what makes these swim baits great, is because you can change the weight out on the head and you can fish them like a top water, or you can fish them all the way down on the bottom as deep as you want to go. And with a 1/2 ounce head, I'll fish them down to 35 feet deep a lot of times. Now, the retrieve, it is super simple. It is a simple, slow as you go straight retrieve. Now, I'm going to give you one of the hardest parts of catching big bass on these baits, and that is, do not swing until you feel the weight of the fish. I have been out before going down a ledge, and Mike's pointing at himself behind the camera here. It's hard. Listen, I have been out going down a ledge or going down a dam, some riprap, and you just feel doom, 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 and they are knocking the crap out of it, but they ain't getting. And one of the things that you have to do is take a breath, because as soon as you swing, they're leaving. As soon as you pull it away insanely fast, I don't know why, but they're gone. Now, you have to learn to temper that want to set the hook. Trust me, I do it every single year. When it comes time to throw these baits, I'll throw it out there, want to hit me, I'll swing away, and I missed him, and I know it was a giant, and my rusty swim bait for the year, you know, I'm just rusty, and I just screw it up. It's like a buzz bait. I throw it out there, the first bass that blows up on it, I swing away, and I'm gonna set the hook on my forehead. But that's the deal. Just a slow roll. Just make sure you feel the weight of the fish and you set the hook then. Now listen to me. I've told you all this story a ton. I was throwing a Shadalicious by Strike King in their Ghost Shad. One of my favorite colors. It's just great for clear water. I was catching them, but I hadn't sort of learned this yet. Do not set straight up. It is a side set, even with the rod tip down. Keep the rod tip down. Do not play the fish. I was playing this fish. My daughter was with me. She likes to remind me to this day that it was the biggest mouth on any fish she's ever seen, and it may have been the biggest mouth on any fish I've ever caught that I've ever seen. And the bass came up, just his head out of the water, shook twice, the tail wiggles, the head wobbles, and it wrenched this hook out and came flying back at me. So keep the rod tip down, winch them in, do not play them, do not play around with them. If they jump or they try to jump, stick your rod tip in the water and fill their mouth full of it. Do not let them get up. Do not play them, do not fight them, put them in the boat. It's why you're using heavier gear, 15 to 18 pound test line. You're not screwing around with these bass. You will lose them. If you got somebody that's getting the net, don't sit here and play them beside the boat. They come up, you hop them in. Period, done, over. If they can't get to the net up there, just got to hope they don't get a hook in their face when it comes loose as you bring them in, because they will shake these hooks. Now, that's really it, geeks. It is really that simple. The biggest thing is be sure you're around bait fish. If you're not around bait fish, if you like to fish a jig or you like to drag a worm, you can be around a lot of rock. Be around bait fish, fish the bait slowly. There's your 2 keys. All right, geeks, this is one of my favorite things in the world to do, especially during the summer. I've just been doing it for so long. I love to throw swim bait. It's probably my go-to bait when it comes to anything else. So, I hope this helps some of you catch more fish. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, here's what we're going to do. All you have to do down in the comment section below, make sure you just leave all one word, hashtag swimbait down there. Hashtag swimbait, you'll be entered to win the May BassGeek box by Tackle Warehouse. And hey, we'll draw that 1 week. We'll announce the winner from when this video drops. All right, geeks, let's see who won the April box. And of course, 1 week from today, we'll give away the May BassGeek Tackle Warehouse box. Let's paste this in, see what we got. Include replies, but we don't want to allow duplicates. See how many we got. 95 comments. Let's see who won. Bass Medic! Hey man, that's awesome. You do a lot for us. Never had much luck with the swim jig. Well, now you're going to get to try one. But maybe I just need to throw it more. Maybe you do. Hashtag swim jig. Way to go, Bass Medic. I appreciate you, man. You're always a big supporter of the channel. And that is why we do the giveaways. Now, if you want to go check out that video we talked about earlier, make sure you go right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comments section below. Make sure, hashtag swimbait, to be entered to win the box. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad, geeks. We need you. We love you. And you geeks rock.